My name is Rahul Sharma. I've been in the corporate America for 20 years, transforming people, transforming leaders, and ensuring that people who wants to move to the next level, they take steady steps. It's all about taking steps. We all may be great individuals, but if we have to the next level, we have to work as one team. Before we get started, a quick note. The opinions expressed here are my own and those of my guest. This conversation is intended for informational and educational purposes only. Always seek expert guidance for your unique situation. And I'm also pleased to inform you that Nextgenleadership Global is a proud sponsor for this season's podcast. Thank you, Nextgenleadership.
Ever wondered what it's like to have an offshore team working for you right here in the Philippines?
I work with a Canadian client. Nextgenleadership provides me everything from workstation, a stable internet, and HR support, and a team that feels like family.
Working with Nextgenleadership's workforce outsourcing team is fast-paced, exciting, at times challenging, but that's exactly what makes it rewarding. It's an opportunity to collaborate with people from diverse culture, gain new knowledge and skills, and be part of a team that supports clients across the globe. We are Nextgenleadership Workforce Outsourcing.
Thinking of expanding your global team? Email us at contactus@nextgenleaderglobal.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Climb Confident Leader Podcast, where we share the stories of leaders moving from invisible state to becoming an influencer. I'm your host, Rahul Karan Sharma, and we have another amazing guest. If you are a corporate woman feeling undervalued at work, then this conversation is for you. Our guest today is Rosie Zilinskas. She's a certified high-performance career coach, former Fortune 500 executive with over 30 years of experience. She knows that it's like to wait for recognition that never comes, and she's here to change that for you. Rosie leads women through a proven roadmap to earn the recognition they deserve and step into leadership with confidence. Her mission is bold: to close the corporate gender gap by helping women stop waiting and start leading with no apologies. If you're ready to take control of your career, build unshakable confidence, and finally own your seat at the table, Rosie is the guide you have been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rosie to our show. Rosie, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Looking forward to the weekend. We have a holiday coming up. And I'm really happy to be talking to you too, Rahul.
Awesome. Thank you, Rosie. So tell our audience about your leadership journey, Rosie, how you started your career and what are you doing today, how things shaped up for you. Enlighten us.
Yeah, sure. So obviously 30 years is a long time, right? But, my story really started when, I was about 35 years old and things were going fairly well at work. My personal life, not so much. My marriage fell apart. I had to leave in the middle of the day. And I ended up going through a really difficult 4-year divorce. And during that time, I really couldn't focus on my career. And once I came out of that, I came out being a single mom, financially solely responsible for my children, and I needed to make more money because now I had a 4 and a 6-year-old that were depending on me. And the only way I knew how to do that was I could advance in my corporate career. And by that time, I was 40 years old. And I remember sitting at my desk typing and thinking, and by that time I had already recovered from the divorce and things were going much better. And I went from a average performer to top performer in 1 year because I knew I was wanting to step into leadership. And one of my coworkers that was younger than I got a promotion. And I'm thinking, well, somebody's going to notice my hard work. I'm sitting here, I'm doing all the things, I'm volunteering. At the time I was training people, I was backing up my manager, coming up with process improvements, all the things. And nothing was happening. And I was just so confused. So finally, one day I went to talk to an executive and to just kind of say, hey, you know what? I'm interested in a leadership position. I've done all these things. So I prepared all my accomplishments and stuff. And at the end, he said, really? You're interested in management? And I was like, yes. What do you mean? And he's like, you never said anything. And those 4 words, Rahul, changed my entire way of leading after that. So I was able to step into a management position about 3 or 4 months later. And then once I was a manager, then it took me a couple of years to really settle into management, but then I started campaigning for me. And that was a pivotal change in my career. And all this time, I was preparing, but where I went wrong is I wasn't communicating to people what my aspirations were. So that's a little bit about my career in a nutshell.
Wow, very inspiring. And ladies and gentlemen who are listening at this moment, always share your aspiration. Don't be in a quieter moment. That's a bigger lesson that Rosie learned hard way, that they need to communicate. Now, Rosie, when you summarized your journey very well, and it was all about positive, all about the growth, but I'm sure there have been moments where it would have been very challenging for you to deal with the situation. You may have your own self-doubt, imposter syndrome. Uh, Tell our audience that what kind of mindset shift you had to go through to bring all that change that you did for yourself.
Yeah, well, certainly for me, you kind of have to identify your big why. Like, why are we doing this? And a lot of people are like, well, especially women that I talk to, they're like, okay, well, I want to put my kids through college. I want to obviously save for retirement. One of my clients was like, I want to remodel my kitchen. So a lot of times it's us wanting to leave a legacy that makes us get into gear. And for me, it was being able to take care of my kids. And when you're a mama bear and you have, your 2 little cubs that are depending on you, you like move heaven and earth to give them everything that they need. So my realization that I needed to do something was to take care of my kids. And again, I was always, getting, pretty good at getting promotions, but I got really stuck when I wanted to step into management. And for me, it was the biggest mistake I made was just staying quiet and assuming that people knew what I was doing when, my boss was busy, their boss was busy, nobody else really cared about what I was doing. So when you're a manager, you don't always know what your direct reports are doing. So it was up to me to keep track of everything that I was doing and be able to clearly communicate to the leadership team how I was making an impact. So, that was a big lesson for me.
Wow. And I think most of us, or at least I would talk about myself, I have been there where I also had that thought process that, well, my work will speak about itself, and what is there to blow your own trumpet? People will see what you're doing. But I think, Rosie, you're making an amazing point where everyone is busy with their own life. They have their things to do. So no one will talk about you except you. So taking notes of each and everything that you do on a regular basis is important, because at the year end, when you're filling up that performance appraisal sheet, you are just thinking to yourself, hey, which are the tasks that I did? If you don't have notes, no journals, probably it will be challenging for you. So thank you for bringing that point. Now, you work with many women leaders, Rosie. Tell us why so many corporate women leaders feel stuck, why they are not able to move forward, even when everything is going right for them. What has been your experience?
Yeah, I think the biggest experience is it kind of like you said, men are generally better about, tooting their own horn and talking about their accomplishments and almost bragging much better than women. Like we were taught, and this is a conversation. It's nothing new, but we've been socialized to follow the rules, to be people pleasers, to just especially in the olden days, little girls are to be seen and not heard, that kind of thing. So a lot of times women just don't take the time to figure out how to communicate how they are making an impact in their organization. So that's kind of one thing. But the second thing is we are so busy taking care of everybody else that we don't take the time to take care of ourselves. Or if we do, it's kind of like, a lot of people are like, I'm lucky if I'm able to take a shower in peace and quiet, type thing. But
Yeah.
I think it's really, really critical that you take time out of your week, even if it's a half hour, an hour, to intentionally work on your career. And we leave our careers on autopilot, thinking that everything's just going to work out, but we're not managing our careers with intention. I think men, maybe they don't necessarily think about it, but it's more natural to them to be kind of advocating for themselves since, they were younger. So that's one big thing I've noticed.
Wow. So, so team, this could be the thing you may be doing unconsciously. Not that you don't want to grow, not that you don't want that promotion, but subconsciously your mind is not moving in that direction. So be mindful of that and try to spend, if not more, but 30 minutes in a day or maybe an hour in a week to really think through on how you want to move forward, what you need to get better at, and what you need to do in order to move forward and lead with intention and think about your career moves, your next move diligently. Have that thinking time. So thank you, Rosie, for sharing that. Now, I know your team, and I love that statement, no woman left behind. It's such a great mission that you are having. Um, you have this promotion readiness roadmap. When I was reviewing your website, you have something. Now, how that roadmap is helping our women leaders to gain clarity and confidence at work?
Yeah, the roadmap is actually a series of different activities that we do, and it's to bring that focus, that clarity, and that intention to become promotion ready. And so what happens a lot of times is someone will be like, Rosie, I want to apply for this job. And now they have to scramble and figure out, okay, they have to update their resume, make sure that their LinkedIn is updated, figure out what their skills are, prepare for the interview. There's a million things that go into a promotion, getting ready for an interview. And what I'm constantly sharing to my clients and people, that listen to my podcast and things like that is I want you to be promotion ready. So what does that mean? That means that when you see a posting, whether it's within the organization or maybe a job posting outside, you have everything ready to go. So all you have to do is plug and play and submit the application instead of scrambling to figure out what you're gonna, again, the resume, everybody seems to get stuck on the resume too, because
Yeah.
You haven't looked at it. It takes time to put it all together. So I have been recommending to people to just hire a resume writer and let them do the heavy lift with that. And then you use that time to prepare for the interview, to figure out what you're going to say, what powerful words you're going to, communicate in the interview, and how you can help the person that's interviewing solve their problem. So those are some very tactical things. And the roadmap, once you go through the roadmap program, then you'll be promotion ready and you're ready to go. So you have your personal value proposition, you have your set of skills, you have your story vault, which is primarily what you're going to say during the interview. So all of those components of the roadmap are now done, and women can easily apply for a job once that opportunity comes up.
Wow. I mean, this is something probably I wish I had when I was going through the corporate career. but it's definitely an icing on the cake when you are working on your career path. And if you are ready when the opportunity comes, that is nothing better than that. So thank you for creating that roadmap. Now, Rosie, I think you did mention in our initial part about silence or staying quiet. And we know that staying quiet in your situation also really made a difference. Why, in today's environment, our women leaders or women who are aspiring leaders, they stay quiet? And what is the cost of staying quiet?
Oh my gosh, the cause. Actually, there is a statistic that says women, if they don't advocate for themselves, let's just say just negotiate in their first job, it could cost them up to $2 million over a lifetime of, obviously raises and things like that, but investing, that money that you're not earning. So it could cost you up to $2 million that you don't earn less than male counterparts just from staying quiet. So there is proven data that staying quiet costs you dollars. So that's one thing. But it also costs you confidence building. And one of the other primary pieces of this roadmap, Rahul, is that women come out of this process so much more confident because, and it's always funny because you've been to a meeting where you're ultra prepared and you've done all of your reports and you know all of your talking points and you feel like $1,000,000. But you've also been to meetings where you either forgot or you were invited at the last minute and you had nothing prepared, and you're like, that feeling of not being prepared just is so draining. And that's exactly how women are treating their careers. They're either really well prepared and then they advance quickly, or they're not aware that they need to be prepared so that they can advance. But the more you prepare, the more confidence you acquire. So it's a parallel process. It's not, you can't do one without the other. Because a lot of times women are like, can you just help me gain confidence so I can, advance my career? I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. You need to prepare. You need to be able to know yourself and explain who you are, what you do, how you help people solve their problems. And that's how you gain the confidence to advocate for yourself.
So preparedness equals confidence. So for you to be confident, you need to be prepared. And that preparedness actually builds that inner confidence. So it's not a coffee, or it's not a product that you can just go and buy from the shop. You have to work on it. So thank you for bringing that up. Now, what is your advice, Rosie, in terms of building the confidence for people? How our women leaders can build their self-confidence without faking it?
So the one thing that I would say as far as advice is go talk to somebody that's been doing your job 2 to 3 years, a little bit longer. Ask them, what did you do? How did you do it? Or you can go talk to leaders that are already in senior leadership positions. So you can ask them for feedback about yourself, but more just kind of be curious. Be curious about how other senior leaders have actually accomplished, their success. And I mean, when I was trying to go from a management position to a home office position as an executive vice president, I had meetings with about 10 senior leaders, and I asked them, what did you do and what advice can you give me? And that's how I started getting little golden nuggets of tidbits that I was like, oh yeah, that's really good. I could apply that. So it wasn't just me talking to mentors, but also talking to more experienced people on how they did their journey. And from there, I was able to piecemeal my own journey as well.
One of the things that is coming to my mind, Rosie, when I was in my corporate world, I used to see a lot of companies are having this women leadership club. And this is my message to the leaders who are listening to us and who are leading that leadership group for women. You need someone like Rosie to be there and lead that initiative. because typically what happens, these are in-house initiatives that are led by in-house leaders who already have their full-time job. For them, this is not the priority. I mean, their intentions are right, but that not be a priority. It is always be a second priority. So if you are really interested in building that women leadership board, you're really interested in investing in those leaders, then you need to hire an expert like Rosie. So I would highly recommend to take inputs from her, how she can help the leaders, the individual contributors, aspiring leaders to be promotion ready, to give their best, to be more vocal. Because being vocal, it is just not about their own self. By staying quiet, you never know how much business dollars they must be losing on the table. So just don't think from the perspective or the personal gain of that employee, but also from a business side. These things, what Rosie is talking about, could be a game changer. So I would highly recommend that to all the leaders who are leading this women leadership group in their organization. So
And
thank
Rahul,
you.
I'd like to add a little bit to that. You're absolutely right with everything that you said, but also it's so interesting because sometimes I'll give you a really easy example. My husband and I were traveling through, I think it was Glacier Mountain. So Montana, lots of curves, lots of like mountains and stuff like that. Beautiful. And he did most of the driving. And a couple of hours, I was like, you know what? You've been to most of the driving. I will go ahead and drive. And so he needed rest. So he was sleeping while I was driving. And I was white knuckling it the entire time. I'm like, this is really tough because it's going up, down, and then there's no hill and whatever. So when he woke up, we finally stopped, we ate dinner and whatever. And so I was telling him that it was really hard to drive. And he's like, why didn't you wake me up? I was like, well, I needed to let you sleep. And I was like, well, aren't you concerned at all about the curves? He's like, no. I'm like, aren't you at all afraid? And he's like, no. And I was like, holy camole. And that's a really easy example of how men and women are about life and about their work. And so I know just from doing my talks that women, a lot of times they disqualify, they discount, and they defeat themselves in their own mind before they take action to do anything. Or we second guess ourselves, or we feel guilty. And this is, you've heard of the mom guilt, but there's no dad guilt. So we have all of these thoughts and ideas that we're just never good enough, that men, or I should say not all men, but men don't generally, spend time thinking about these things, right? So that's another thing. And for leaders to understand that women have a different mindset and that we have to work harder at getting through those barriers is really key and important.
Absolutely. I think that book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are For Venus, I think it has that some merit to it, because the point that you are bringing about driving, it's some things comes very natural to men. Like, for example, in terms of cooking, you see women has an art. The way I look at it, women are more creative. Their right side of brain works more better than the left side. Majority, I'm not generalizing it, but
Right.
Depending on individual to individual. So now, if an organization wants to bring you on board and take help from your mission, how they can connect with you, how they can work with you, and what kind of change you think they will get after having a partnership with you, Rosie?
Yeah, so I actually just did a talk not too long ago at a financial institution downtown Chicago. And it was really nice because I live in Chicago, so I was able to be there in person. And we're going to do a coaching program following the roadmap after the talk. So the talk talks about the roadmap, but these young women, they're really excited about being able to learn more about, again, how to be promotion ready. And then the leaders were also very excited about bringing the expertise in, and they don't have to spend the time to prepare. And the younger women, they're probably between 25 and 30 that are trying to either advance in their career or advance in their job or step into leadership. And I have another talk that's coming up in August. Again, it's a consulting firm in Chicago, and they're going to be doing the same. But I'm also doing this same roadmap with my membership. And the women constantly say that every little piece that they learn and apply in their career makes a difference. One of my members just said the other day to me that she's trying to apply for a position within her company, and the manager that wants to hire her was like, well, how do how much money do you make? And she said, well, I don't see how that's relevant to this job because it's in a different department. I was like, good for you. So the knowledge makes a big difference, because once these women start applying the knowledge, man, they gain so much perspective, and they're able to not necessarily object, but just kind of defend themselves, or be able to provide a different point of view for the person that they're talking to. So a big difference.
Well, so there are so many options, listeners, for you to see how you can work with Rosie and her team, and then see the difference for yourself. Engage with her for one of our keynote, and you will see there will be a line of people wanting to work with her. So thank you for all the great work that you're doing. Now, before I let you go, we are moving to our last segment, Rosie. It's the fun rapid fire round, where 5 questions will be shared to you, and we would want you to give response instantly. And after that, I do want to know about No Woman Left Behind mission of yours. Okay.
Sounds good.
The first one, quotation you live by.
Okay, so former Secretary of State of the United States, Madeleine Albright, she passed away a few years ago, but she has a quote that says, "There's a special place in hell for women that don't help other women." So I love that, because women must collaborate with each other over compete with each other. There's plenty of business in this world. So that's my quote.
Awesome. Very good. Since you do a lot of leadership retreat, indoors or outdoor for your ideal leadership retreat?
Oh, indoors for sure. I want women to be comfortable, especially if anybody's having hot flashes, Rahul.
Okay. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, total morning person. Total morning person.
Okay. What's one leadership skill you wish someone had taught you earlier?
Leadership skill would be manage my career with intention.
Wow. Last one. If your career were a Netflix series, what would your title of season 1 be?
Speak Up Right Now.
Great. Awesome. You did amazing.
How about it?
All right. So now, can you share with us about this mission of No Woman Left Behind?
Yeah, so No Woman Left Behind is really based on my own experience being in the corporate world. I know I don't look at Rahul, but I'm 100% Mexican. So when my parents moved us back and forth between Mexico City and the United States 3 or 4 times while we were growing up. And bless my parents, they raised us really well, but they were zero help when it came to advancing in high school, advancing in college, and they just didn't know anything about education. So it's so interesting, because I was able to be resourceful and figure things out on my own. So being really resourceful is such a key thing. So that's why when I started establishing my business, I was like, oh, no woman left behind, because I felt left behind in my life all the time. So that's one of the reasons why, that came about.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you for making that up, and consciously, intentionally, the work that you are doing to uplift the women leaders is simply amazing. So as a ritual, I will share my learnings from the show. There has been a lot of golden nuggets that were dropped by Rosie throughout the show for me. And as you are listening to us, please mention what's your biggest takeaway in the comments. For me, it is number 1 is identify your big why. It is so important for you to identify your big why. That will help you in designing your career roadmap. Another aspect is don't be silent. You need to speak up for yourself. Do not think that managers are magicians, your leaders are magicians. They will not be able to read your mind. Okay? It was only in that movie, What Women Want, that the person was able to read mind. In reality, no one can read your mind. So you need to really tell people what are you expecting, what are you looking for. And manage your career with intention. Spend time, 30 minutes to an hour on a regular basis to think about your next move. Don't let someone else tell you that you need to do this. Prepare yourself, be conscious about it. Um, Readiness Roadmap. I mean, what I love about this is it's making you prepared for when the opportunity comes to you. Opportunity will not give you a phone call or an SMS that I'm coming. Opportunity will just come to you, and you need to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, that opportunity might go to someone else. So this look at this promotion readiness roadmap and prepare yourself for your next opportunity. And finally, the cost of staying quiet. So the amazing data that Rosie shared with us is almost close to $2 million throughout the lifetime that you can lose if you are staying quiet. Apart from the basic other stuff, which is your confidence, your courage, your entire overall personality can be responsible for being quiet. So those were some of the learnings from my side. Rosie, before I let you go, any final words of wisdom from your end for our listeners?
The only other thing that I would say, Rahul, is all of the conversation that we had was about careers, but we as women can guide our younger daughters, our nieces, our, kids' friends, or our friends' kids, and try to instill the fact that these younger little people are eventually going to be searching for a job, a career. So tell people about the fact that we need to help our younger girls in this country to advocate for themselves with their parents' help. So that's my last little tidbit.
That's so absolutely right. We need to spread the message. We need to prepare them, because what we have gone through, we should not let others go through. So thank you, Rosie, for sharing these amazing golden nuggets with us. Thank you for the great work that you are doing to uplift leaders across the country, across the globe. And we wish you loads of success. Wish you the best.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
listeners.
Rahul.
Thank
This
you.
was wonderful.
Thank you.